In the heart of medieval France, amidst the cobbled streets and towering cathedrals, there existed a world of enchantment and mystery, a realm where the jongleurs reigned supreme. These wandering entertainers, with their colourful garb and lively spirits, moved from village to village, town to town, weaving a tapestry of wonder and delight that captivated the hearts and minds of all who beheld them. The term jongleur has its roots in the ancient Latin word jocucator, which evolved into jongleur in Old French and later jongleur in English. These words morphed into juggler, a term still familiar today. Jongleurs were a diverse group, their talents spanning a wide range of skills. But behind the gaiety and laughter, a deeper, more enigmatic story unfolded. There were two distinct factions of jongleurs. The first group consisted of acrobats, jugglers, actors, and street magicians. Their performances were a spectacle of physical prowess and illusion, drawing gasps and applause from throngs of eager onlookers. Yet, beneath the surface of their public acclaim lay a shadow of suspicion and disdain. The Church, with its stern doctrines, often condemned these entertainers, branding them as shiftless, thieving, and downright immoral. Whispers of dark dealings and dubious alliances swirled around them, and many believed that these jongleurs had struck clandestine pacts with sinister forces to enhance their unnatural skills. In contrast, the second group, known as jongleurs de geste, were the keepers of ancient tales and heroic sagas. These performers specialized in reciting epic poems known as chansons de geste, or songs of great deeds. Their verses brought to life the valor and nobility of legendary heroes, weaving history and myth into a single, mesmerizing narrative. Unlike their more flamboyant counterparts, jongleurs de geste were held in high esteem, their art celebrated for its cultural and moral significance. Noble lords and ladies would often invite them to their courts, where they would perform by flickering candlelight, their words casting long shadows and evoking the spirits of a bygone age. The golden age of the jongleurs unfolded in the 13th century, a time when their performances were a staple of public entertainment. Marketplaces, fairs, and noble courts were their stages, where they mesmerized audiences with their diverse skills. However, as the 14th century dawned, the prominence of jongleurs began to wane. The rise of specialized performers, actors, musicians, and acrobats led to the gradual decline of the multifaceted jongleurs. Their once unified craft was fragmented among these new specialists, marking the end of an era. However, the golden age of the jongleurs was not without its perils and intrigues. As their influence grew, so too did the dangers they faced. Rival factions of jongleurs often clashed in fierce competitions, each seeking to outdo the other in skill and spectacle. These contests, though thrilling for the audience, were fraught with tension and rivalry. Rumors of sabotage and betrayal ran rampant, and it was said that more than one jongleur met a mysterious end, their demise cloaked in secrecy and whispered about in hushed tones. One such tale tells of a famed jongleur named Etienne, whose feats of acrobatics and storytelling were unmatched. Etienne's reputation had spread far and wide, and his name was spoken with awe and admiration. Yet, his success bred jealousy among his peers. On a fateful night, as Etienne prepared to perform before the royal court, a rival jongleur named Guillaume conspired to bring about his downfall. Under the cover of darkness, Guillaume tampered with Etienne's equipment, ensuring that his performance would end in disaster. As Etienne took the stage, unaware of the treachery that lurked in the shadows, the tension in the air was palpable. The crowd watched with bated breath as he began his act, a dazzling display of acrobatics and fire. But as he leapt into the air for his final, awe-inspiring feat, disaster struck. The tampered apparatus gave way, and Etienne plummeted to the ground, his lifeless body a stark reminder of the perilous world of the jongleurs. Guillaume's treachery, however, did not go unnoticed. The jongleurs, though divided in their crafts, shared a deep bond, and the betrayal of one of their own was an unforgivable sin. Guillaume was cast out, condemned to wander the land in solitude, a pariah among his own kind. As time went on, the jongleurs de geste continued their noble tradition, their songs and stories echoing through the halls of grand castles and humble taverns alike. Their words were filled with the bravery of Charlemagne, the chivalry of Roland, and the wisdom of King Arthur. But even these respected jongleurs could not escape the changing tides of history. The decline of the jongleurs was gradual but inexorable. The rise of the bourgeoisie brought new forms of entertainment, and the burgeoning theatre companies and orchestras began to draw the attention of the public. Specialized performers, who focused on singular crafts such as acting, music, or acrobatics, started to eclipse the versatile jongleurs. By the time the 15th century arrived, the once proud jongleurs had become a rarity, their vibrant performances replaced by more modern spectacles. Yet, even in decline, the spirit of the jongleurs endured. Their stories, both triumphant and tragic, became the stuff of legend, passed down through generations. The jongleurs of medieval France may have faded into history, but their legacy of artistry, intrigue, and resilience lives on, a testament to the enduring power of performance and the unbreakable human spirit. One of the last great jongleurs, a man named Adrien, carried the weight of his predecessor's legacy on his shoulders. Adrien was a master of both the acrobatic arts and the epic recitations of the chansons de geste. His performances were said to be so compelling that they could move the hardest hearts to tears and make the most cynical souls believe in the heroism of old. Adrien's most famous performance took place in the crumbling castle of a dying baron. The baron, a man of great wealth but failing health, had heard tales of Adrien's prowess and invited him to perform. The journey to the baron's castle was fraught with danger, as bandits and wild animals roamed the forests. But Adrien, driven by a sense of duty and the promise of a substantial reward, pressed on. As he approached the castle, a sense of foreboding settled over him. The once grand fortress was now a shadow of its former self, its walls cracked and overgrown with ivy. The baron's servants, a fearful and superstitious lot, whispered of strange occurrences and ghostly apparitions. But Adrien, ever the consummate performer, steeled himself and entered the castle. The great hall was filled with an eerie silence, broken only by the baron's labored breathing. Adrien began his performance with a series of acrobatic feats, his movements fluid and graceful despite the oppressive atmosphere. The baron's eyes, once dull and lifeless, began to spark with interest. As Adrien transitioned to the recitation of the chansons de geste, the hall seemed to come alive with the echoes of ancient battles and heroic deeds. But as Adrien reached the climax of his tale, a cold wind swept through the hall, extinguishing the torches and plunging the room into darkness. The baron's servants screamed and fled, leaving Adrien alone with his audience of one. The baron, now on the edge of his seat, urged Adrien to continue. With only the faint light of the moon filtering through the cracked windows, Adrien's voice took on an otherworldly quality. As he spoke of the fall of Troy and the adventures of Odysseus, Adrien felt a presence behind him. He dared not turn, fearing that his concentration would break. But the presence grew stronger, and Adrien knew that he was not alone. Summoning all his courage, he finished the tale, his voice steady and unwavering. When the final word left his lips, the wind ceased, and the torches reignited. The baron, tears streaming down his face, rose from his seat and embraced Adrien, thanking him for bringing light to his final days. Adrien, though shaken by the experience, felt a profound sense of accomplishment. He had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, his performance a testament to the enduring power of the jongleurs. Adrien's story spread far and wide, a fitting end to the era of the jongleurs. Though the world had moved on, their legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of those who remembered their tales of heroism, mystery, and enchantment. The jongleurs of medieval France may have faded into history, but their spirit, filled with artistry, intrigue, and resilience, continues to inspire and captivate, a testament to the unbreakable human spirit.